So we're gonna start with a little bit of warm up. So I'm gonna take us through a warm up that sort of like mimics some of the movements that we're gonna do during the workout. So we'll do sort of like a regular warm up for getting the heart rate up. But this is gonna be mostly a posterior chain workout. So like glutes, hamstrings, and then like shoulders and back. Yeah, so let's get her going. So we're gonna start with, if you have a space the size of a yoga mat, we're gonna start at one end of the yoga mat. We're just gonna hug one knee up towards our chest, step forward, little shallow lunge, and then press back up. So one knee up to the chest, step forward, shallow lunge, press back up. So we're gonna do 3 of those, step forward, shallow lunge, on each side, and then we're gonna add to it. So 1 more on each side, knee up.
So there's a little test of my balance.
Yep. Starting off with some balance. Okay, and then we're gonna add a toe touch. So reach up, touch your toes, and then bring that knee up with you, forward, come back, reach up, touch your toes, bring that knee up with you, shallow lunge. So we're gonna do 2 more like that. So it doesn't matter if you can't touch your toes. We're gonna go soft knees bending forward at the hips, knee up, shallow lunge, back up, and then touch your toes. So trying to send your hips back and hinge through your hips. Knee up, shallow lunge, reach up, touch your toes. 1 more on each side. So knee up, shallow lunge, forward, touch your toes. 1 more. Woo! It's a little balance challenge for me. So if you can't get all the way to toes, you're totally fine. You can do shins, but give yourself a soft bend in the knees. Now, we're gonna do another reach up, bend forward, touch your toes, and progress this into an inchworm. So walking our hands out, dropping our bum slowly till we get to a plank position, and then we're gonna walk back in, reach up, come down, touch our toes, walk out into a plank position, walk it back, all the way up, reach down, walk out into plank. Okay, come back up. We're gonna do another one, but we're gonna add our lunge twist. So walking out into a plank, we're gonna step our right foot up, lunge twist to the right, bring that right hand back down, step back into our plank. We're gonna walk back up, out of our inchworm, and then repeat on the other side. So down, walking out with our hands, step forward with your left leg, reach the left arm up, back down, and then walk back and come all the way up. We're gonna add a little bit of a squat. So instead of a forward fold to touch, we're gonna go squat down, tip forward, then walk our hands out, repeat that step up, open rotation to the right, back down, and then walking the hands back towards the knees to a squat position, come back out. Down into a squat, tip forward onto all fours, walk your hands out to plank, left leg comes up, twist to the left, bring it back down, and then walking back to that squat position, come out of the squat. So we're sort of adding almost like a bear crawl. So squat, tipping forward. Now we're on all fours without our knees touching. Hands are walking out to plank. Right foot steps up. Reach the right hand up towards the sky. Bring it back down. Switch your legs. Left leg up towards the sky. And then this time we're gonna bring the right leg up to meet the left. So now we're in our squat position. We're gonna try to drop our hips between our knees, reach our arms up towards the sky, and come all the way out of that. So kind of doing a combination together. We're gonna do all that again. So come back to the edge of your mat, squatting down, tipping forward into a bear crawl position, walking our hands forward into a plank. Right foot steps up to low lunge. Right arm twists to reach towards the sky, opening up the chest. Bring it back down, step the right foot back. We're gonna go left foot up. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Bring it back, step the right foot up, back into our squat, reach the arms overhead, come all the way out. 1 more of those. So back to the other end of the mat, squatting down, Bear crawl position, walking the hands out. We're in a plank, stepping the right foot up, rotating to the right, bring that hand back down, step the left foot up, rotating to the left. We're gonna step that right foot back up, so we're in our squat position. Try and drop your bum down, reach your arms up, come all the way up, and then walk it back. All right, we're gonna do a high lunge, so like we did before, hugging the knee up to the chest, stepping into the lunge, but we're adding a twist this time. So I'm gonna twist towards my front knee. So my right hand is gonna reach behind me, and then we're gonna come back to center, push back to center. So left knee up, left leg steps forward, twisting to the left, so your left hand reaches behind you, and then bring it back to center. We're gonna do 2 more on each side, so a little deeper lunge, twisting to the right, right hand reaches behind you, back to center, step up, deep left lunge, twisting to the left, bring it back to center. 1 more on each side. Try to keep that front knee pointing forward, so don't let it twist with you. Twisting to the right, back to center, step up, and then last one, left, twist left, arms left to right, left hand reaches back, and then bring it back to center and come back up. Awesome. We're going to do a little bit more of an arm warm up. So reaching the hands up, 1 more forward fold, walking ourselves up to plank. Stop in that plank position when we've got our hips between our knees and our ankles and our shoulders. We're going to lift our belly button up towards the sky, press into downward dog. And then we're going to do a micro bend of our elbows left to right, and then push back up. Drop your belly button back down to plank. So almost like an overhead press, like a downward dog push-up, but just a mini one. So lifting the hips up, elbows bend left to right, and then back up to down dog, and then back to plank. We're going to do 1 more. Hips lift up, chest comes forward, elbows bend left to right, come back up, back down into plank position. We're gonna bend our knees and push with our arms into a squat. So I call this a plank squat. Lift your hips, come back to the plank. So with this motion, try not to pull with your legs. You're gonna push with your arms as if you're trying to stretch your mat longer. And then come back into plank. We're gonna do 3 more of those. So pushing with your arms like you're trying to push that mat away from your feet. And then back up. So 2 more, trying to maintain that plank position. Push with your arms, drop your hips back, and then back to plank. 1 more time, don't let your knees touch, push with your arms, and then come back up to center. So we're in our plank, we're gonna do opposite inchworm, so walking our hands back up, getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch, and then come all the way up. So we're gonna practice some hip hinging now before we get into it. So hip hinging, we're gonna try to keep our knees over top of our ankles, so not letting our knees go too far forward. And we're gonna reach our hips back and our arms forward, and then come up. So imagine like you're trying to reach your tailbone to 3 o'clock and the top of your head is going to 9 o'clock. So hips go back and then forward. Back and then forward. So we're gonna do 4 more. Hips go back, forward. So when you reach your hips back, when you're coming forward, I want you to think almost like you're trying to grab something behind you between your butt cheeks, and you're gonna pull it towards you. So reaching our hips back, arms forward, and then I'm gonna use that butt squeeze to come up. So I'm keeping my spine flat and long. 1 more, reaching the hips back, and then coming forward. So we're just gonna do a little bit of a practice on 1 leg at a time. So we're gonna go onto our left leg. We're gonna do same thing when we reach our hips back, but this time I'm also gonna reach my right leg back. So I'm gonna go here and then forward. Here.
Are you touching your back leg down, or is it up?
My back leg's touching the ground.
Oh, okay.
So back leg's touching the ground and forward. And we wanna try to keep our knee in line with our second toe. So we're gonna do this move later, but we're gonna add some stuff to it. So I want you to practice getting that single leg hinge. So spine stays nice and long and flat, and we're sitting back into the hip. So you should have done about 3 on each side with this one. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna get into it now. So we're gonna do a Tabata. So our A's, which is gonna be our first Tabata, is gonna be an alternating side lunge. So you're gonna start in the middle of your mat. We're gonna step one leg out. We're gonna sit our hips back. One leg's gonna be straight, and then we're gonna push back up. So it's gonna look like this from the side. I'm stepping out, sending my hips back, and then pushing back up. So if you wanna make this one a little bit harder, you can add a hop. Step out, hop up on your way in. But what we're trying to do, similar to that single leg hip hinge that we just practiced backwards, it's basically a sideways version of that. So we're trying to send our hips back, knee not too far forward. So that's gonna be our A1. Our A2 is gonna be an all fours hip thruster. So we're gonna plant our feet, we're gonna plant our hands, and the hand position is gonna be what's ever comfortable for you. So I'm gonna make my hands like an L, or my left arm's like an L. I'm pointing my fingers in the same direction that my toes are pointing, and then we're gonna glute squeeze and lift up from there. So sort of like a super intense glute bridge, but this is a little bit harder on the wrists. So whatever you find more comfortable for your wrist and your shoulder, I'm okay with that. So we're gonna go 20 seconds on of each of those, 10-second break and alternating. Make sense?
Yep. So we're just going side to side with side.
Side to side. And if you want to add a weight, so if you have weight for the lunge, you can hold it here or you can hold it here. All right? Here's the bell and side to side. Go. So you should hear the bell. Hopefully, if you can't hear the bell, let me know.
I can hear it.
Okay, sweet. So if you got a weight, you can hold it on your chest. You can hold it in between your legs. It's totally fine if you don't have a weight. So trying to keep your chest tall, sink your hips back. There goes my weight, just rolled off the deck. Okay, so now we're gonna hip thrust. So all 4 corners of your feet planted, all 4 corners of your hands are planted. Hips lift up, control back down. Bum squeeze up, control back down. So try not to let your shoulders reach up towards your ears. And our goal is to get our hips between our knees and our shoulders without arching our lower back. So make sure you're keeping those lower ribs hugged down. There's the bell. We're gonna switch back to our alternating side lunge. Whew. Whew. Okay, hand side lunge. So if you want to add the hop, or not. So you feel like a little bit of a groin stretch when you do that one?
Oh yeah.
Good.
I
Okay.
feel like guilty for doing too much coughing in my husband.
Bum squeeze lift. So keeping your chest tall. Try not to let your chin scrunch or come too high up. So imagine like you have like a big navel orange under your chin. So you're sort of maintaining some space there. Awesome. Back to side lunges. So keeping your chest tall. Sitting back. I find with these Tabatas, like the first round seems easy, and then the second round you're like, okay, I'm working. And then by the third and fourth, you're like, okay, it's happening.
Definitely.
It's when the sweat kicks in. I think that's why I like them.
I think so. It's good. It's nice balance.
Yeah.
Won't feel super hard.
Yeah. It's not like so challenging that you don't want to do it. And bridge. Bum squeeze lift.
Very doable.
If you're feeling any like low back pain, then don't go quite so high. Really concentrate on keeping those lower ribs hugging down. So maybe you're only gonna go to here as opposed to all the way up. Let's do a couple more. And back to our lunge. Okay, we got one more round. Yay. I like to use, especially with this one when I get tired, if I don't have the weight in my hand, I start to use my arms a little bit. So when I step to the right, I bring my left arm forward. When I step to the left, my right arm comes forward. Like almost like a skater. Okay, one more bridging. Here we go, and lift. So kind of like we just practiced with the hinge, where I said imagine like you're trying to pull something behind you with your butt cheeks. Think of the same thing here. So I'm gonna pick something off the floor with my cheeks and lift up. Whew. Beauty, okay. So we should feel extra warmed up now. Okay, so you grab some water. I'm gonna show you the next two. So same thing, Tabata. We're gonna continue with our 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So these are our B's. So one is an in-out feet. So we're gonna maintain like a quarter to half squat the whole entire time and plant our feet right underneath our hips and then jump them out so they're wider than our hips. So it's gonna look like this. Here. So I've got two straight parallel lines to here. So here to here. So we're gonna do that is gonna be our B1, and our B2 is gonna be an up down plank. Everybody's favorite. So you can do this from your toes, where basically you start on an up plank, and you go down onto a down plank, and then back to an up plank. You can do it from your knees. And then remember, anytime we do anything that is in sort of like a plank or a push-up position, you can use a table or the edge of a chair. So you could always be here and then go down to here and then come back up. Okay? But we're gonna start with our in-out feet. So we got 10 seconds. So start yourself up. So a little bit of a narrower stance that you might use for a squat. Feet right underneath hips. Sit back into our squat and then hop out and hop in. So try not to make any sound, especially for people that are living in apartments and that are jumping above other people. I've got a tenant underneath me. Sorry, Corey. I'm gonna try to stay nice and light on my feet so I don't make you sound. Awesome. So now's our up down plank. So with this, the wider your feet are, the easier it's going to be stable. Here we go. So start with a high plank, down onto our elbows, back up to high plank. So try to alternate which arm you go down with. So I'm going to go down on my right, up on my right, then I'm going to go down on my left, and then I'm going to go up on my left. Awesome. One set down, 3 to go. Okay, so we're going to do feet right underneath hips, mini squat, in, out. So what we're also going to try here, which will help us from not making too much sound, is trying to not go up and down. So don't be like this, it's not a jumping jack. We're staying loaded and going feet in and out. Awesome. Okay, back to our up down plank. So remember, you can go from your knees if you want to, or use the edge of your couch, the edge of your coffee table, a dining room chair. You can do from here. So we're trying to prevent a lot of hips rocking side to side. So try not to let your hip drop or lift up when you switch sides. So when I go down on my left, I'm tempted to switch my hips to the right. So try to keep them centered as if you're balancing something over your low back. Okay, back to our in-out feet. Parallel lines, mini squat. So just like we did with the side lunge, where we're sitting down into one side and pushing back, we're basically doing that double. So I'm trying to push back with both feet in, just like we did with the side lunge where we pushed in this way. When we're out, we're gonna push both feet back in. So those same like outer hip muscles working. Outside of the glutes. All right, up, down, plank. So remember, especially if you're deciding to go from your knees on this one, try not to let your butt poke in the air. So I don't want it to look like this. Your hips, glute squeeze. You're trying to keep your hips between your knees and your shoulders, and you're gonna go down. So that might mean the tops of your thighs touch the ground, and that's okay. I'd rather that than you sticking your butt up, because then you're gonna lose that extra glute activation. And for a lot of people, knees pointing forward, in, out, hop, here we go. For a lot of people, those like plank / floor exercises, the way the camera's set up, I can't tell if you're cheating or not. So you're gonna be honest with yourself. See if your butt's sticking in the air. All right, so no up and down. Got a low ceiling, you're trying not to hit your head. Back to up, down, plank. How you doing?
Great.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna go down on my left, and then up on my left. Then I'm gonna go down on my right, and up on my right. If you keep your hands close together, then you're also gonna be rocking less. So feet wide, hands together, helps you rock side to side less. Oh, nice, I thought we had one more of that one. Sweet. Okay, water break. So, next, we're gonna come back to that single leg hinge that we practiced. So trying to load our glutes and hamstrings on one leg at a time. We're gonna hit it from both angles. So we're gonna do a single leg hinge forward, and then we're gonna do a single leg hinge other side. So we did a single leg hinge laterally already, outward, and we did one back. We're gonna practice that one back again, but we're also gonna do a curtsy version. So, Emily, we've done this one before. We're gonna put them together. So we're gonna do right side, and then we're gonna do right side single hinge, then we're gonna do right side curtsy, then we're gonna do left side single hinge, right side curtsy. That sort of makes sense. So it'll be, instead of being 4 minutes of work like every other Tabata, it's gonna be 8 minutes of work all together. And we're gonna have a quick turnaround between our sides. Okay, if I get this right, yeah. So instead of having 10 seconds, we're gonna have only 3. But I'll explain as we go. I'm gonna explain it as we go. Okay, so we're gonna start with our hip hinge that we practiced on one leg. So right leg's gonna be in front. We're gonna reach our bum back to 3 and our head to 9 on one leg. So you can keep that back toe just grazing the ground if you want to, or if you want to make it a little bit harder, you can lift it off at the top. Or you can take your chair, your wall, your table that's near you, and you can have that stabilize you at the bottom. Okay, keeping that right leg forward, we're gonna go down into our curtsy squat. So still loading that right leg in the front, we're stepping back and dropping that back knee down. So sitting back into that right hip. You want to make this one a little bit harder, drive that knee up at the top. Or if you want to make it even harder, pop it at the top. Okay, now we're going to switch all that on the left. So we're going to have our left leg forward. We're going to do our hip hinge on the left. So sliding that right leg back, sending our hip back and coming up. Hip back, coming up. You can have your toe on the ground or off the ground, keeping that back straight. Awesome, so we're gonna keep that left leg forward, step backwards with the right, curtsy squat. So drive that knee up, or touch, or skip it. So ways to make it harder or easier. So easier is gonna be kind of touching at the top. Moderate's gonna be driving the knee up for balance. Hard cardio is gonna be that hop. Awesome. So we're gonna do all that again on the right. You can also add weight to this, which mine rolled off my deck, but let's pretend my water bottle is the weight. So my right foot's forward. I'm gonna have the weight in my left hand and drive up. So hip hinging on the right. So if you had a weight, your right foot's forward, the weight's gonna be in your left hand. Sending your hips back. So making sure we're not letting our knee travel too far forward with this. Now, keeping that right foot forward, step back with the left. So again, if I wanted a weight with this, for curtsy squat, I usually like to hold the weight here. So sitting back into that hip. So this is a great one for hip adduction and internal rotation. All right, you're switching to the left. So again, we're hip hinging on the left leg first. If you want to use weight, it's going to be in your right hand this time. And sending that right leg back. Trying to keep that front knee in line with the second and third toe. So trying not to let it drop in over your arch. So back foot is lightly touching the ground, so all your weight's in your front leg. Awesome, so that left leg's gonna stay forward. If you want your weight, have it at your chest. Stepping that right foot back. So you should almost get like a little bit of a stretch in the outside of that front hip when you do this one.
Yeah.
Woo, okay, that was 2 rounds. You ready to go again? That was 2 rounds each side. We're going again so that we can make it 4 rounds each side. You ready?
Do I just like softly bend my front leg, right?
Pardon?
I don't like bend it a lot. Do I just like very softly bend my front leg when I'm doing the hip hinge?
Yes, exactly. So I'll go a little bit closer. We're going again, so right side hip hinge. So just like a micro bend in that front knee, making sure that it doesn't travel backwards or too far forwards. So you basically want enough bend in that knee that you're not getting like a hamstring stretch. Because if you don't bend it at all, then your hamstrings are going to limit you. Curtsy squat, right foot forward, stepping back. I'm having trouble hearing you because our next door neighbor's kid is driving their Power Wheels.
Oh.
And that's all I can hear. Okay, we're switching legs, so left leg in the front. So yeah, micro bend in the knee. And hip back, right foot back, power up. So even with the 2-leg hip hinge that we did during the warm-up, we did that butt squeeze to come up. Same thing here, except that butt squeeze is happening only on one leg. So just our left leg is driving up. Left leg's doing all the work. Nice, keep that left leg forward, stepping back with the right. Here we go, curtsy squat. Sitting back into that hip. So with this one, I'm sort of controlling my descent and coming out quickly. So I can sink into that hip and then come out. All right, we got one more each side. Whew.
Oh, this one goes by fast.
And back. Like each 20-second period goes by fast, but because it's like double, the whole thing goes by slow. So sink that right hip back, bum squeeze forward. Okay, right foot stays forward. Last time curtsy squats on the right. So control yourself at the end and then drive up. So sinking into that right hip. If you want to add the arms, as I sink down, my left hand comes up. As I come up, my right arm comes up. So opposite arm and leg coming up at the same time. Okay, last time. I applaud those of you who are doing the skipping version. Okay, left leg in front, last hinge. Right leg reaches back, bum squeeze. Lovely. All right, curtsy squat, left foot in front, last time. So if you want a little power help from the arms, as I sink down, my right arm comes up in front. As I come up, my left arm drives up. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. We have 2 more Tabatas to get through. I gotta tidy up the timer settings now. So our next one, oops, which is a
water.
Yeah, get some water break while I explain. Our next one is going to be, which is D. D1 is mountain climbers. So it's just a moving plank. And I'm going to show you different options for that. And then our D2 is going to be bum kick. So trying to keep our knees pointing at the ground and kicking our heels to our bum. So for those of you that don't know mountain climbers, again, anytime we do it in a plank position, if you want to do it from your knees, that's always going to be an option. Or if you want to do it from an elevated surface, so edge of your couch, chair, whatever, that's going to be an option. So our mountain climber, we're maintaining plank position, so hip in between.
I can't see it, just so you know.
Me? Oh, really?
Yeah, when you go down to a plank, I can really see you.
Oh, I'll tilt the screen a little bit. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so mountain climber, is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so mountain climber, here to here. So slow and controlled is going to be helping to build core strength and hip flexor strength. And then we know if we go fast, we still got some core strength, but it's going to be more shoulder stability and more cardio. Okay, so I'll probably do a combo of both. So that's our mountain climber. And bum kicks, we're just going to try to keep our knees pointing towards the ground and kick our heels towards our bum. So you should feel your hamstrings working a little bit on that one. Okay, so we're starting with our mountain climber. So